Good morning, peoples.
It is Friday morning, taking the whip down to get some new tires. The fun part about when you drop your car off to get new tires is if you don't have a ride, you get to walk back. Alright guys, so this is going to be episode 1 in my 10 episode series on basic training weeks 1 through 10. So this first one is all about reception for you guys. So reception, as I'm sure you know by now, is the very first week of basic training, even though it isn't basic training because it's reception. They don't actually count it as part of your training, but I count it because you're there at Fort Jackson or wherever it is you're going for basic training, and you're already getting a little bit miserable, but they don't count it. So when you get to reception, well, let's start at the airport. So you'll get there on your flight or bus, whatever you took. And for me, it was the airport. So we showed up to the airport and we went into this room, and they had like snacks and stuff for people who were going to Fort Jackson. And I thought it'd be like we get to the airport and then right away they would take us to Fort Jackson and all the craziness would begin. But they waited for several flights to come in because lots of people were going in the same cycle I was. So I didn't really eat. I didn't have too much of an appetite. I wasn't like super nervous actually, but I wasn't like super thrilled either. So some people, they were like eating everything, Rice Krispie treats, muffins. I was like, all right, you do you. But I did not eat too much. They brought in like cards. They were like old cards, like there were birthday cards, Happy Father's Day cards and stuff, like, but they said you could write a note home if you wanted to, and they would like send it from there to wherever you addressed it. You still have your phones and stuff obviously, but I did it. I thought it'd be kind of cool to like write a letter and then get it. I don't know, I thought it'd be cool, so I did. I just like scratched out the Happy Father's Day and wrote a letter back to my family. But you have your phone, so yeah, I was in touch with my family. I was calling them, kept them updated, let them know I was there. So we were there for several hours, and then a drill sergeant came in. He was like in his dress blues. It was his tropic dress blues, so like not the full like jacket or anything, but the short sleeves, white t-shirt with all his badges and ribbons and stuff on it. So he came and everybody got kind of quiet, like, oh, is this it? Like, what's happening? He talked to the people who were in charge of that room where the people waiting to go basic went. And then he just looked like, he was a short, kind of wiry guy, but pretty intimidating, had that drill sergeant hat. And then he, after everybody was there, he was waiting for, I guess, came in very, not like yelling, but just very like firm, like sharp tone, like told us all to get out by our bags because we had stacked our bags outside the room. And so we went, got our bags, then he told us to stand, and he put us in formation, told us how he wanted us to stand outside the rooms, like in the airport where everybody could see us. And we stood at the position of attention for a while. I don't know how long because we didn't have watches or anything on at this point, but we just stood and you were too scared to look around, and you just stood and stood a little longer, and I was just waiting, anticipating what was going to happen next because you knew he was somewhere behind you, but you didn't know where. You didn't want to turn around and look. Then he came over, he said you need to use the latrine one more time before we left to do it now. You have like 2 minutes or something. So like pretty much everybody went like running off. I just stayed. I didn't want to move. But then he came back, and when everybody was back, filed us outside the airport. There was a big bus waiting for us. We got on the bus. We were told not to be on our cell phones, but he didn't ride on the bus with us, so it was all people who were just going to Fort Jackson, and we were all trainees, and we thought it might be the last time we had our phones, so we had like our personal bag, and then we had our phone like outside, and we're like trying to hide it, even though there was no way to really hide it from, but just texting people like, hey, this might be it. Just last minute things. Some people were just scrolling through the gram, like, I don't know, whatever. You have your phone, you can do whatever you want. Then we got to Fort Jackson, and everything started getting kind of real. And then we pulled up outside this one building, and it says like, there's something there. It's like through these portals passes the world's greatest soldiers, something like that. And so it was like the training facility that you were entering. And then this drill sergeant came on. It was a female, and she told us like, welcome to Fort Jackson, blah blah blah. You have 2 minutes to get off my bus, and there's like a bunch of us on there. So we didn't make it out in 2 minutes, but then they had like these footprints, these yellow footprints on the concrete, and we had to go stand in those. And when we stood in the yellow footprints, and then she came through and she told us all that you failed my first task for you guys. You weren't off the bus in 2 minutes. And we learned pretty quick. So like the push-up position, they call it the front lean and rest position. So front lean rest position, move, and you drop to your hands, then shoot your feet out behind you into the push-up position. And then the drill sergeant would say in cadence, and we all said in cadence, exercise, and then it was like 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, and so on and so forth. But it was like, there were people freaking out like, oh my goodness, we're getting smoked, like this is crazy, like, oh, but I knew it was just reception, so I knew it wouldn't be that bad, and it wasn't. So then we went into this room. They had us like dump our personal bags out. They just started listing off a bunch of items that if you have this, bring it up. They had a trash can at the front. But it was really chaotic, like it was really stressed. Like you weren't even considering hiding anything that you were trying to keep. Like if they said it and you had it, you were throwing it away. Like you weren't risking it. You're like pretty stressed at this point. So you're going through, then they have you just sit there and wait. So much of reception, so much was just sitting, or not sitting, standing and doing nothing. You're standing there. And it's in Columbia, South Carolina. In my case, well, I'm pretty sure all the Army basic training facilities, it's pretty hot. So I know like Fort Benning, Georgia, that's not gonna be cool. Fort Jackson, Columbia, South Carolina, that wasn't cool. So it's hot. It was nighttime when we got there, so it was dark. But you're a ways away from going to bed. You like don't go to bed the first night. So then after they make sure you don't have anything they don't want you to have, they take you and you get in like another formation, and there's these other people who are like, they're in what you'll learn to be your PTs, so the shorts, the t-shirt, they got their PT belt on, their camel pack. And so we all thought they were like either AIT or like, we didn't know what they were, but we thought they were like superior, like we need to respect them or whatever. And they were in charge of this like facility where we were going through, and they gave us our laundry bag, so you guys will learn what that is. It's so it's this big green bag, and you're just holding it, and as you're going through, you're just literally walking through a line. They're just like throwing stuff in it. They like weighed you, and they asked you your height so they could like know what your size was. But you're just walking through, they're throwing stuff in it. You aren't talking, you're way too scared to talk. And it's all these other people who are putting the stuff in that we weren't sure what they were. They weren't like drill sergeants, obviously, but we didn't know if they were like, that was their job in the Army, was like issue trainees their gear. But anyway, come to find out, those were just holdovers, which I'll explain more what that is later. But after we found out what they were, we didn't respect them like we were before. We still respected them, but in a different way. But anyway, so then we get all our stuff and our bags are like full. With my group, they had us sit outside that building and we had to wait because there were people coming to like, I don't know, it was weird. They were like touring Fort Jackson, but like the basic training, so it was just like civilians that came in and they were just like, it was weird. I felt like I was in like a zoo because we were just sitting there and they came through and were just looking at us. And the drill sergeant had told us before to be like, be on your best behavior. You're representing, you know, something bigger than yourself now. Like, we have these civilians coming through and you guys need to be on your best behavior, like, whatever. So, and just side note real quick, the drill sergeants at reception are way nicer than the drill sergeants when you actually start basic training. So they took us back to our sleep bays. So bay is like barracks, right? So when I say bay, and you'll hear that a lot in these videos, the bay is like where you sleep. And so they took us back there to the bay and they like gave us some ridiculous hit time, like go get all this stuff up in your locker or whatever. So we went up, did that. You still have your phone at this time. Like, you aren't on your phone like down there, obviously, because there's drill sergeants and you're super scared and stuff. But so we came back down, we had like formation. They explained just some stuff about how stuff was gonna run to us. And then they just pretty much were laying down like the ground rules, I guess you could say. But it was really late. They sent us back up to our bays for the night and like told us to go to bed. But like I said, you don't really sleep the first night. So what happened with us was we get up there, we had sheets. Some of the beds had pillows, not all the beds had pillows. My bed didn't have a pillow. So we were all freaking out, like trying to make our beds like super tight and like super neat and stuff. But at reception, they didn't check our bunks like one time. And so I wouldn't worry about it too much if I were you guys, but because you don't even, at basic, they teach you how to make the bed. Like, they'll teach you how they want you to make the bed. At reception, they don't even cover that. So I guess just keep your stuff neat just in case, because like we didn't get checked, but you guys might, so I'd play it safe, at least make your bed. But so we go to bed, they said you all have like 15 minutes to shower or something, and then lights have to be out. So there's way too many people that all get showers, so everybody's just fighting for showers and stuff. And you have to shave like every morning because they pick up on if your face is a little like stubbly. But so then we all go to bed. I'm thinking like, all right, first day kind of down, even though it's only a night. But when we went to bed, at reception, they have like these loudspeakers like throughout the bay. And the one drill sergeant, he gets on, he's like, you all have like 1 minute to get downstairs and in formation now. And he was saying like in uniform and everything. And then we only had our PTs, so it was like our PT uniform. So we're all like scrambling, trying to get our shoes on, shoes tied. He gets back on the speaker, he's like, where are you? Get down here. And so we're all freaking out, like trying to get dressed super fast. Like it was so early in the morning. Like, we had just gone to bed like half an hour before. So it was crazy. We all go like running downstairs, and at reception, like you're just all like crammed in the staircase, like trying to go down. It's literally like survival of the fittest. Like, it was crazy. But we get down there and then he tells us like every time, because this happens so many times at reception, but every time it was like something crazy. Like, I had a trainee knocking on my door asking me where a pillowcase was. You don't need a freaking pillowcase. Like, just going off. And it was like we all got torn out of bed like for this. And then he's like, oh, you guys are gonna be standing down here. And we would just stand and we would do nothing, and we would stand there. maybe a couple push-ups. Like, it was so stupid. But we're all super tired, of course. So then we go back up there. It was like not even an hour later, the same thing happens again. And he said some trainee came knocking on his door or whatever, asking another stupid question. So then that night, that happened like 3 times. It was ridiculous. We didn't get to sleep like at all. So then make it through the first night. We go to breakfast. It wasn't too bad. You got like, you don't talk in the line. Like if you talk, you're gonna get yelled at. That's one thing the drill sergeants at reception would do. Like if you talked in the chow line, they would like yell at you. And the worst thing really was like, they would just make you stand. So like after chow or everything, they wouldn't really smoke us at reception, but it would be hot. Like the sun would just be like beating down. And after we finished, it's not like you just go back to your room or anything. You stand outside the chow hall in formation. So we were all just standing there. It'd be hot. You'll get your platoon number. So like mine was 6'9". So that's another thing. So like lots of the time at basic, if there's a number like 15, you won't say 15, you'll say 15. Like my platoon was 69, but we never said 69. Like you never said 69. You just said 6'9". So when you come out of chow hall, I would yell like 6'9", and then wherever 6'9", because most of the time there'd be some guys already out there formed up. If I was the first one out there, then I would go form up where we'd usually form up. And so if somebody yelled 6'9", we would all yell 6'9", and then they would know where to come find us. We'd get formed up. So depending on your platoon, that's what you'll yell as your number. And then after a meal, we would be out there just standing, waiting. Even after everybody would get out there, we'd be standing out there for so long. But then finally the drill sergeant would come out, and usually they would just march us to somewhere to do more standing. They would file us into a room or something, and we'd just do more standing or something. But it was all really boring, and you're just like thinking like, what am I even doing right now? You like your phone's back in your locker, so it's not like you're sitting there texting somebody or anything, but you're so bored and it's hot. So if you're outside, you're just like, this is ridiculous. I'm just standing in the sun for so long. So that's kind of how the flow of reception went. Like that is like the standard stuff. All chow times were like, you don't talk in line, you don't talk when you're eating. They'll show you how to do everything. One thing lots of people got screamed at chow for were like, they would get like they'd have their plate and then they would go to get a drink, but you're supposed to put your plate down before you get a drink. So, and there's a sign that says that, but it's a kind of a small sign. Like, I guess you should see it. But anyway, so drill sergeants would be screaming like, did you not read the sign? And they would make them like walk laps around the chow hall or something. But that's like the standard stuff of reception. So that stuff every day of reception. I was at reception for like a whole week. I got there on a Tuesday. I should have got there Monday, but my flight got like delayed. But I got there on a Tuesday, and then I didn't ship to basic training until that next Tuesday. So I was there for a week, but that's because it was on Memorial Day weekend. So it was weird. It kind of messed stuff up. Usually you won't be at reception for a whole week. But so that's the stuff that like is going to be the constant at basic training. Every day, that's gonna be the same type of stuff. You're gonna be standing around doing nothing at the position of attention. So no moving, no talking. It's not the like weather. You can't count on the weather to be like comfortable for you. Like it could be really hot. It could be cold. I guess if you go during like a winter cycle, it could be rainy. Like don't count on it being like comfortable by any means. But your chow times, you aren't gonna talk. When you're in bed at night, you're probably gonna get woken up. You have fire watch at night, so you guys, during basic training, fire watch gets a little more serious, but during reception, it's just like, so an hour shift of fire watch at night. So at reception they did it where you had to like volunteer. They took like I don't even remember what they called it reception. At basic we called it the bay boss, like the guy who's in charge of the bay. Reception was the two oldest. At reception, so at basic training was the two oldest. At reception, I don't remember how. I think it was kind of more of a volunteer basis, but he had to get volunteers, like sign this roster and stuff, and so he needed a volunteer for like each hour of the night. So I think we each had to do it a couple times. Like I think I did it like 3 times at reception. But so the worst shifts are like if you had it from like 2 to 3 in the morning, like that was pretty terrible. But at reception you're literally just walking like back and forth. Like lots of people were on their phones for it. So because even though you should be sleeping at night because you're gonna be tired and you're gonna be doing a lot of standing in the sun and stuff, but you're probably gonna be on your phone all night anyway, and texting everybody like, oh, this is so terrible. I don't know why I signed up, but you'll be fine. So then the next couple things I'm gonna say are what like happened at reception. So the order like day 1, day 2, day 3, that's gonna vary. Like what you do on each day, that's totally up to like the drill sergeants you have, your cycle, like, so I'm not gonna be super specific in the order of like, all right, this is what we did day 1, this is what we did day 2, because it could change. Like they had a thing on the wall that said reception, day 1, day 2, day 3. We didn't stick to that schedule at all. So, but I'm just gonna tell you guys like what you're gonna do at reception. So uniforms, you get issued your OCPs, so your camouflage uniforms you think of when you think like Army, you're gonna get issued those. Your boots, I mean they issue everything. Like, you aren't gonna use any civilian stuff at basic training. So boots, socks, underwear, your OCP top, OCP bottom, PC cap, or just PC, I guess, patrol cap, undershirts, I mean everything. You're issued your like first deodorant, you have like a duffel bag that they're putting all this stuff in. You're issued like everything that you didn't get the first night, you're getting the second night. So the main stuff is like your OCPs. And then that's like a whole day, because think of like how many people they're filing through this thing, and you're just walking a single file line, like having you try on a jacket. Okay, that's too big, try the next one, and then all right, that's good. Then they give you like 4 of those, throw them in your bag because you get 4 sets of OCPs. And then you get your boots, they like size your feet. The boots suck, they're terrible, but you get 2 summer boots, 1 pair of winter boots. I only used 1 pair of boots all through basic, just because you break them in and your feet get all blistered and calloused to that pair of boots. And so they'll issue 3 pairs of boots, but I only used 1. And then on family day, I wore the pair of summer boots that I never wore. And so those are like still like brand new, but they're really crappy boots. So I'm buying new boots now that I'm done. Like Nike boots that don't kill my feet every time I wear them. But so that's like a whole day, because that's a really long process. And I mean, they're yelling at you like in line and stuff. Some people are talking, like it happens, like it's gonna happen, like for sure. But then probably a lot of people's worst, like least favorite part of reception is you get a lot of shots. You do. So honestly, what you're gonna do is you're gonna be in your PTs. They had us like go into this classroom, or it was like an auditorium, and they had like a sheet of paper, and it had like all the shots you were getting on it, and it was like barcodes. So you held that piece of paper to your chest, and then they literally lined you up. Like, say the paper had like a red dot on it, they'd be like all the people with the red, or it'd be like a C2 on it or something. Like, everybody with a red C2 on their paper, line up over here. Everybody with a blue B4, line up over here. And so they line you up that way, then they just start walking you through. So you're filing through, you're holding the paper to your chest, you have your sleeves rolled up, and then your camel pack, which is like your backpack that holds water, the straps are over that holding your sleeves up. So you're just walking through, holding it like this, and you know you're getting shots now. So you're walking, And I told myself, like, I'm not gonna look at the guy in front of me, I'm not gonna look at the guy in front of me. But then I look and I see him and they just do it. Like, they just push it right in, and it's not as bad as it looks, but you just keep walking. You say like your last name, last four of your social. So like Campbell, 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep walking. And then they have people standing there with little alcohol swabs, like wiping it if it's bleeding or whatever. So you keep going through. So shots, lots of shots. You get several shots. And your arms are very, very sore in the following days. But then, so shots, your uniforms, you're also, so it's like one thing per day, kind of. So then on, you'll also go to the PX, but it's not like what you're gonna think. If you've ever been on a military base and you think like, oh yeah, the big like mall-like thing, no, like basic training has its own like small ones. And they tell you what you can buy. Like at the first trip, they literally like have people that they pulled out and said like, put one of these in everybody's basket, put one of these in everybody's basket, and you just walk through and they just put it in. You don't pick out anything like scented deodorant. It was like unscented deodorant. Like you don't pick out anything. So that was all pretty frustrating. Food wasn't great. You still have your phone, so you're like calling your family throughout. You're setting up your pay. You're at reception. You're gonna double check and make sure your bank information is correct so that your pay is going in the right bank account. You're gonna go over all your paperwork. You get your dog tags. You get your first haircut, which, if you haven't noticed, mine's coming back nicely. Still very short, but slowly but surely. But haircuts, dog tags, that smaller stuff, they'll do like lots of that in one day. But so if I think reception for us was like 4 days of actually doing stuff, but then because of the weird Memorial Day weekend, we couldn't ship till that Tuesday. So it was like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Memorial Day weekend was a long weekend. So honestly, maybe it was like Tuesday night and then like 3 days of actually doing stuff. Because that's all, because then for us, Memorial Day weekend, we still had to like get up early, stand formation. But I'm not kidding, for like the last 2-3 days of reception, we were done with everything, but we couldn't ship to basic because of Memorial Day weekend. So we slept so much. Like that was the best part of reception. Because I didn't even care though, because they had already given us our graduation date. So I'm like, and they told us like, pretty much no matter what, you're gonna graduate on this day, unless you mess up or you get hurt or something. But as far as like, even though we were being at reception for that Memorial Day weekend, we were still like going to graduate August 1st. So I like had told my dad on the phone one time, I was like, they can keep us here all they want, because at that point we were just sleeping. We had our phones still, and we would wake up, go to chow. There was one time that I almost slept through chow. Nobody in my bay woke me up, and I was asleep, and like I had a corner bunk. And I woke up and it was so quiet in my bay, and I got so scared. I'm like, where is everybody? So I like threw my shoes on, run downstairs. Right as they were all starting to march to chow, and I like ran up. A drill sergeant like just saw me, and he was like, guy, get in line. That's all he said. He didn't like flip out me or anything, so that was good. But sleeping, eating, you still have your phone. You guys might not have that because, like I said, we had Memorial Day weekend, so it was weird. But that's pretty much reception for you guys. It's frustrating, it's annoying. You feel like you aren't doing anything, but believe me, basic training picks it up. You aren't gonna be just standing around, like, it picks up. But then on your ship day, your last day at reception, you're gonna have all your stuff packed up in a bag. Your cell phone's gonna be in a Ziploc baggie. It's all gonna be stacked up. You're gonna have your dot on your left patch to show like what platoon you're in when you get to basic. The buses come pulling around. Yeah, they're gonna have you holding your big duffel bags go on an LMTV. your laundry bag you're holding. You're gonna have drill sergeants there that you don't recognize, and come to find out they're gonna be your drill sergeants at basic training. I didn't know that. I just thought like, oh, who are these people? You're gonna get on the bus. Drill sergeant's gonna get on the bus. They're gonna tell you, put your head down in your laundry bag, close your eyes. So you're kind of starting to sweat, like getting a little nervous, like, all right, this is actually it. And this bus is gonna roll out, heads down the duffel bag. You're gonna pull up, and where you'll learn, you're gonna pull up in front of your CTA, and then the drill sergeant's gonna scream at you. You have however long they say to get off my bus, and from there on, it's chaos. Reception's over, basic training's begun, and you have a lot of fun waiting for you. Alright guys, that was my video on reception. So next week is going to be week 1 red phase. So that was a very crazy week, very exciting, so you'll want to for sure check that out. If you have any questions, go and drop them in the comments. I'm sure there will be some, and I'd be more than happy to answer those for you. Reception, really, it's mental. It's not as physical as some of you are thinking it's going to be. Most a lot of you do is like 10 push-ups at a time, so mental. Just make sure you're prepared both physically and mentally, and you'll do great. So check in next Friday for red phase week 1, and we'll see you then.